Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining the session. And so in this session, we are just going to talk about a topic, which is about how is that we increase the engagement of a particular website, of a leading American utility website, to more than like 3 times of what it was earlier. Yeah, so that's the whole session for today. And in today's session, I am also joining my colleague, Ariel, who will be the co-presenter for this session. So moving on, a quick note on the speakers for today. So it's myself, Pradeep. So I'm the architect working with Moonraft Innovation Labs, Bangalore, India. And we take up on all different Drupal applications as such. And then we have Ariel. Ariel is the digital product team lead for SoCalGas, California. And he leads the team for the SoCalGas team. So that's on the intro. Hey, Ariel.
Sure. Hi. So as Pradeep mentioned, my name is Ariel Albornoz, digital product team lead for SoCalGas. And I want to give a little background of the company for our utility.
Before that, I think so. Basically, this is what we are going to cover in these sessions. So, which is more about. Let me just do one small thing. Let me just turn off my video. Okay. So in this session, so we are just going to talk about all the different topics where we just try to give a brief overview about SoCalGas and the history and challenges what we faced with the application, what we migrated to Drupal, and maybe at a very high level, try to understand why did SoCalGas go ahead with Drupal, or what is that they were looking for Drupal. And then we talk about the solution, the whole migration approach, what we used or how we did it, following up with the outcome. So what is that we achieved after doing the migration, and finally, after completing the migration, what is that or how is that we are currently using Drupal for the current use cases. Yeah, so this is the whole topic of this particular session. So I'll hand it over to Ariel to give us more details or context on SoCalGas.
Great. Thank you, Pradeep. So a little bit about the company. SoCalGas has been a vital energy supplier for Central and Southern California for over 150 years. We provide increasingly clean, safe, and reliable energy solutions to 21.8 million customers over our 38,000 square kilometer service territory. And yes, I did have to Google the conversion from miles to kilometers for you guys. Our corporate mission is to build the cleanest, safest, most innovative energy company in America. Through innovative programs such as renewable natural gas and hydrogen, we're looking to the future needs of our customers. Also, as COVID-19 has forced us to close all of our physical branch offices for almost 2 years now, we've turned exclusively to digital channels to engage with our customers. I've talked a little bit about the SoCalGas mission, but having started my career at the company in the UX department, we have another guiding light. Our user experience vision is to be the most customer-centric utility in the world. And everything we do from a web perspective is to reach that promise, to put the needs of our customers and web users first through improved usability and universal accessibility. To do this, we needed a solid technical foundation for our digital experiences so we could transform our team to deliver solutions that will help us get closer to our experience vision goal. So let me talk about some of the challenges that we had in our previous system. Before we could improve the site experience for our customers, we needed to move away from our legacy content management platform. There was so much technical debt associated with this platform where we were encountering weekly site outages and difficulty even doing simple content updates. It became increasingly difficult to find developers who knew the legacy system, which in turn made it very costly in terms of time and money to update code. We did not have the ownership of the code base we needed. So after one of our sister companies proved a Drupal cloud solution was possible, we also decided this was a direction we had to take. So here are some of the reasons why we chose Drupal. For security, as a public utility in the United States, we're held to a higher level than a lot of other sites. We're also a big target for cyber attacks. So our cybersecurity is very important, and we needed a system where those threats could be mitigated quickly. So we were working with our cybersecurity team and doing as much as possible to get our site as stable and be able to be protected. A lot of our customers do come to us if there's an emergency, there's a gas leak, they need to find information quickly, and we need to get them help as fast as possible. We're looking for stability in a platform, and since Drupal was frequently updated, there was a roadmap. It was predictable where it was going to go. That was another draw to Drupal. We definitely like the modular framework, so it was easy for us to build new components. There's this, as everyone knows, there's this huge community out there that contributes code and adds functionality. We were also looking to transform our team into an agile development team. So the platform was definitely suited for that, just the way it was modular and easily updated that way. Workflow was a big part of the reason we wanted Drupal. It was a mandate from our executives that there was a workflow of how things were put up on the site. Content needed to be approved by different levels of users. So Drupal let us fine tune that. And as I said, we needed high availability for our regulatory content, things that the government mandates we need to have on our website, and also for safety information. And since our sister company in San Diego it's a bit south of Los Angeles, they were able to prove the solution could work on the cloud. We were one of the first groups within SoCalGas to actually move our application to the cloud. And since then, a lot of other groups are also moving to different cloud providers. The other great part about Drupal is that there's so many developers out there and so many companies such as Moonraft that have really excellent developers that help us with our Drupal experience.
Cool. Thanks, Ariel. Thanks for helping us with those details, and so that the audience, have a better context of what was the reason that we were planning for this migration, and what were the needs of the whole execution. So thanks for that. So going ahead, so basically, as with the details what Ariel provided, saying that what were the shortcomings or what were the pain points what they had with their existing system and what is that they wanted to achieve. So I have just come up with some basic or a very high level things that we wanted to achieve as part of this whole migration strategy. So mainly being the application availability, as Ariel said, because this has the key information that might be needed in case if there is a gas leak or whatever. So for those reasons, the application should be available and so that it is accessible at any given time through any device as well. So availability was a major constraint, and there even in terms of content authoring, because this is a multilingual site, there is different teams that is involved for creating a content, and I think earlier it was difficult to even get a small change in because there was a lot of process or flow that was there in order to get even a small change published to production. And definitely they wanted a system which is high performance and an improved customer experience. So these were the basic or the critical pain points which we were trying to solve as part of this migration process or engagement. So for this migration strategy, so what we did was because there was a very strong or a very uh, need of moving the application into a very stable system. So there were two things that was done. So one, definitely we moved to a cloud solution, and two, we considered Drupal to be the CMS for this particular solution. So the whole thing was actually split into three different phases. So the first one, I would say, a lift and shift, which was a quick and dirty migration where we were able to move away from the legacy system into a more reliable system. But when it comes to the user experience, there was no change. So it was an as is migration, whatever we got from the legacy site into the new Drupal environment, or a cloud environment where we used Acquia as our hosting provider, and we had used Drupal for the CMS. So that was the first phase, where what we call as lift and shift. So maybe I'll just explain it in the further slides. So in the first phase, basically, as I told, it was a pure lift and shift. There was no improvement as such. We were just trying to move away from the old environment into a cloud environment and using Drupal as a CMS. So these were the major changes that happened as part of lift and shift, where we had to set up Acquia for the cloud system, export the data out of the legacy system. In this case, we exported all the data as XML. There were some data transformation that we had to do on top of the data what we got in XML, because the data which we got from as XML had some um, data which was more relevant to the legacy system. So yes, definitely there was some cleanup or data transformation that we did to get it to a point where that data can be easily consumed within Drupal. It could be Drupal or any other CMS. So basically, so we did some data transformation where we did the cleanup so that the data is much cleaner for it to be consumed in Drupal. And the third point is the actual migration, where we started creating all the YAMLs, whatever is needed, where we did the mapping and all the things, and trying to get all the content, including both the English, Spanish, and couple of other languages. But mainly the site had English and Spanish content, but we had other languages for all the privacy policy or the terms and conditions. So I think we had around like 10 languages that was identified, but the regular content was mainly in English and in Spanish. So this is all what we did, and I would just like to take some time to showcase or say that how is that we went ahead with the whole migration process. So at a very high level, so these were the three different entities that we had to migrate from the legacy system into Drupal, so that we had the whole content available. So the first one being the media assets. So the media assets include all types of images, files, documents, whatever that is referred. And here in Drupal, so we created them as media entities, so that they are reusable within the Drupal environment, and it has all the other capabilities what Drupal provides. So, and the main reason where we chose to migrate the media entities as the first step was just because there is no other dependencies for this media. So it is the least entity, so which will be used or consumed by other entities within Drupal. So media was the first thing, where we migrated around 20,000 plus entities into Drupal. And then the next one was the components. So the components are the main building blocks of that particular website, which has the actual content. And these components were designed in such a way saying that they can be reused across pages. So let's say you have a block which has the contact details or whatever, and that block need to be present in different pages. So we had created them as not as a block. I mean, we created them as a component, and this component was we were able to reuse them or place them in different contents. So component was our second entity that we migrated, which consumed the media assets which were migrated earlier. And then the final part, or the final phase, or the of the migration process, was the actual creating the pages. The pages includes our taxonomy terms, or any other content type pages, so which will have references to the components which were earlier created. And along with the components, so we also try to add the other metadata that is needed for that particular content or page. It could be your URL aliases, or the other meta tags that is needed, the status, because there were like few pages which were unpublished, which are still in draft mode. So we had to plug in those metadata informations as well at the page level before we publish or save or migrate that particular content into Drupal. So these were the main three types of entities that we migrated or got into Drupal. So by end of this lift and shift phase, so we had a Drupal system which is on cloud, which had all the data which was migrated over from the legacy system into the new system in Drupal, with the same look and feel how on as it was in the earlier legacy system. So this was completed, and once we finished our lift and shift phase, so we went ahead with the component redesign phase, where we tried to add um, more or where we were able to consume the other capabilities what Drupal provides, and along with that add more features, or like bringing in this rich user experiences and the other things to the system. So talking about few things, one, as Ariel definitely spoke about the workflow. So that was one thing which was incorporated, where, as I said earlier, so because it's a multilingual site and there is different teams involved for creating the content as well as reviewing the content, I think the workflow was a real necessary, and Drupal provides all these things out of the box, and we were able to bring in different stages, different transitions, whatever was necessary as per the requirements, and then the whole workflow was built. Along with the workflow, there was also this requirement for notifying the user so that there is no delay in terms of publishing a particular content. So it could be publishing, or it could be like let's say a reviewer see when he's reviewing the content and sees a problem, and he wants to notify the editor saying that he wants some change to be done before it is published. So by default, the editor would be able to push it back to the draft mode so that the editor can work on it. But these notifications played a very critical role, or crucial role, where the editors were informed immediately, and these notifications also carried information saying that what is the change that the reviewer is looking for. So the notification had this detailed or this specific informations that needs to be passed on to the respective people or teams, so that they can take the appropriate action and take it forward. So the workflow with the notification, I think that was really helpful for the team to be able to push contents or publish contents or data very quickly. And then so we also utilize the pipelines, the Acquia pipelines for the CI/CD, making it much easier for the whole deployment flow. So we configured the CI/CD for all the different environments so that it was very seamless for the developers when we do the regular development or the feature development that was happening. And the same thing was applicable when we were able to push changes to the stage environment for us to get the UAT done and things like that. And once everything is complete, so both the dev and stage had an auto CI/CD, the build and deploy configured. But when it comes to production, so we had the auto build in place, but the deploy was not automated, because as there is a lot of other teams, not I mean that needs to be involved or notified for these particular deployments to be happen, right? So SoCalGas had a specific requirement saying that the production deployment needs to happen at a specific time. So for that reason, so we had an auto build in place for creating the tags or whatever that is necessary for doing the deployment. But the switch to that particular tag was a manual thing, because that was a need, because that was supposed to be happening on a specific time. There is a specific window that we have where we used to do the production deployments. So that was the only reason why we did not have an automated deployment for production, and it was just restricted to the automated builds. um, and going on, so as I told, in the left hand shift there was no UI improvements or facelift that we had done. But as part of the component redesign flow, so we brought in all the improvements that could be done by improving the existing components, adding more features or capabilities to it, or bringing in or coming up with newer components through which we can bring this better user experience to the users. And to an extent we added new a few other capabilities as well, which was in terms of trying to um, change some of the manual process into a more automated way to an extent. So these were the things that we did as part of the component redesign. By end of the component redesign, so we had a system which had a complete new UI, which was a refreshed UI with the existing and with a couple of added capabilities and functionalities. And following this was the final phase, where I mean, so far what we spoke in the lift and shift and in the component redesign, right? So these pages were restricted to static content or static information or static pages. But whereas there were a few other pages which are dynamic, which are like forms, or which are the few other pages where there is more user interaction, where the user can get more information as well. So those dynamic and the form pages were taken up as part of the phase 3 or the final phase, where we were able to build those dynamic pages, as well as we were able to migrate over the rest of the information that was available in the legacy systems. I mean, when I say legacy system, um, SoCal had two different systems, which was OWCS and TeamSite, where the data was present in I mean in both the systems. So finally, as part of the final phase of our migration, so we were able to get the data from both the systems into one single system in Drupal, and make sure that the other two legacy systems could be sunsetted, and Drupal would be the only system which will be able to drive any future requests going forward. And apart from the regular migration, so like adding the newer capabilities, we did a lot of other improvements, like integrations that was necessary, or trying to even improve the performance of that particular application as well, by bringing in the CDN, and trying to make use of the other features or services whatever Acquia provides. I think we try to bring in all those features in, trying to make sure that we have a system which is like completely scalable, which is highly available, which has a good user experience, and the customer reaches better. So this is all by the end of the three phases, so we were able to achieve all these things. And that's what I have just tried to come up with the next slide, where we had a slide earlier where Ariel was just trying to figure out or highlight, saying that what is that they were expecting from Drupal, and at the end of the whole migration process. So I would say that we had a better content authoring. So the content, it could be the way the components or the contents are structured, right? So they were self-sustaining, so that even they were able to using those components itself, the editors were able to build a page where they have each and every flexibility or capability to tweak or manage the way that the page was required. So that was one. And coming to the performance, again, I think we try to get the best caching principles in place. It could be clearing your caches as and when a content is published, so that there is no delay and the latest content is available to the users. And because I said that there are ways, or the components are like reused between pages, so we also use the cache tags efficiently, so that as and when a particular child content is published, so the other related parent pages are also the cache for those pages also get cleared, so that the newer changes are available to the end users immediately. And as I spoke in the earlier, the content workflow and notifications played a very was very helpful for people from different teams to work collaboratively to bring in or push those changes immediately to production within a quick time. And talking about the search, yeah, the search was another important thing what we built. We used Acquia Solar as for indexing the content and getting the search results out of it. So the way the search was configured, it was the end users were able to get the data. The results were more relevant to the keywords whatever the users were trying to search, and even the search results were faster, so that the user get the information very quickly. So search was an advantage what we had. And finally, the SEO. So the legacy system, I think their sitemap, or what the legacy sitemap was very restricted, where they had links to only the main pages or the landing pages of that particular site. But with Drupal, so I think we were able to get a very extensive sitemap in place with minimal configurations, so that we were able to get all the possible published contents available in that particular sitemap. And this particular sitemap was crawlable, so that all the contents what is available within the SoCalGas system were indexed, and they were available in the search results. So definitely, I think the SEO had a very big boost by having the sitemap in place, having all the relevant or the published contents easily available and easily crawlable. So at the end of migration, so I think we just wanted to give you some inputs on the results, or what is that we achieved after the whole migration process, and how it benefited for the team. So with respect to the metrics, right, I think we had like an increase of 18%, where we were able to get new users accessing our site. So there was a 79% drop in the bounce rate, so that people were more connected, or more they were able to use a site in an efficient way. And by all these things, so I think the average session durations within the site, right, I think that increased by 3 times, so that people were able to, by all these things, what it could be the search, or it could be the improved user experience, or the accessibility whatever we have, right, I think the users were able to use the application in a better way and stay more connected with the particular website. And the average page load was also much faster. So apart from these metrics, right, so this is more on the consumer side. But internally, there were few benefits what the SoCalGas team also got, because we were on a cloud system. I think the main pain point of they spending their time in order to maintain the server and all the things, so that was moved out. And having Drupal as a CMS, I think their content authoring process also improved, so they were able to use the system in a more efficient way, so thereby able to publish contents easily and quickly. So this is what we achieved, where it was a win-win situation both for the editors and as well as the consumers. And then finally, I would like to take some time to say that, or convey saying that what is that we have done, or how Drupal has helped SoCalGas after the migration. So as part of the migration, so we were just trying to move away from the legacy system and come into the new system, which was through which we were able to drive the business site, which was SoCalGas.com. But later on, we were able to use the same infrastructure for spinning up another microsite for SoCalGas, so that we did some tweaks for the current Drupal system, through which we were able to change that, so that it was we changed that to a multi-site architecture, and with that we were able to host another application on the same infrastructure. So uh, it uses the same infrastructure both on the cloud side, and even from the code perspective it uses the same, and even it is beneficial for the SoCalGas team, so that they don't have to invest more time for doing the upgrades or whatever. So it's one-time development, and that is available for both their brand websites. So that's one improvement, or that's one way how Drupal has helped the SoCalGas team. And the second thing is the integration. So after the migration, I think there is a lot of integrations that we have done. It could be third-party integrations, or it could be other um, internal applications that are integrated with the site, so thereby reducing or replacing all the manual work with more automated process in place, or crons in place, which will through which we are able to avoid that manual intervention, and everything is automated, and the changes are flowing seamlessly from other system into the main system. Okay, so this is how, or these are the improvements that we have done after the initial migration and to Drupal, and how Drupal has helped us to be able to cater other features or functionalities for SoCalGas. So yeah, that's more about it. That's all the slides what we had, and I'm happy to take any questions from the team. Ariel, please feel free if I have missed, or if you want to add anything on top of that.
No, just that. I mean, the last point you did mention about the multi-site setup, and we were able to spin up our newsroom site in really fast time. I mean, I think we were about a month of just quick development. It was really great to see that come to fruition, and I know our leadership was really pushing for it, and your team helped us deliver that in pretty much record time for SoCalGas.
That's true. I think that's the flexibility what Drupal also gave. So because of which we were able to utilize them, as well as the effort what the team put in. So I think we were able to pull it out. Okay, so we'll give some time to see. I think we still have some time. So let's wait if there are any questions.
Okay, we have a question. First question here from Paul Maloney. He's asked, besides moving to Drupal, what other approaches did you take to improve engagement?
Yes. So I think it's more. I would say it's a combination of things. So it could be the user experience, the way the content is structured, or the way we try to reach the customers, right? So, and try to make them more engaging. So I think those are the things which we got in, or what we were able to build within Drupal, so that we were able to engage the customer more. Or apart from along with the engagement, right, I think it is just the information what the users are looking for. So as long as we were able to deliver or give them that information what they're looking for, I think that's how we were able to get people back, or be more connected with SoCalGas.
Yeah, and we also, now that we're on a platform that we could easily update and test and iterate different ideas on, we could also improve the accessibility. That was kind of lacking before, and we're still improving it. We have different people on staff that are also able to help us test if they're visually impaired, or they're able to let us know right away. We also have different tools to do some testing with screen readers, and Drupal's helped us there. Just in the fact that it's easy to iterate on ideas and try things out really fast. Having our dedicated staging and development environments definitely helps, because what we had before was very fragile. There's nowhere where we could test things. So it wasn't just moving to Drupal, it was also enabling the cloud environments and getting all that set up on Acquia, and that was a major improvement for our development team.
Yes, again, these improvements, what we talk right now is what we have today, but definitely these things can be improved even to a better extent in the future. So I think with the point where we are right now for SoCalGas, I think they have every possible features that we could use to even be better connected with the users. So there are definitely a lot of features that we can develop for SoCalGas, which will even have that better reach and the engagement with the customers.
And for Newsroom, we did add a feature that was new for our company of being able to share on social media, making that really easy to share. That was a big thing we wanted to do for that, just to our customers do communicate with us through different channels besides our website. So we do get questions from our social media channels from customers. So we have an entire team that posts new things and drives people back to the website, but also talks to them through those different channels as well.
Okay. In case if there are no further questions, then we can move on. But in case even at a later point in time, if you have any questions, do reach out to us. We are happy to share or get connected with you and provide you as much of information that is necessary or needed. And thank you. I have also added a link for the case study what we have for SoCalGas on Drupal.org. So please go through it and reach out to us if you have any questions regarding this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.